Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll discuss about GitHub workflow and actions. To start with it, we'll learn about the Terraform deployment with the GitHub workflow. We'll discuss how do you set up the approval-based deployment with the Terraform and GitHub actions. Hi, my name is Rakesh Suryavanshi. You're watching PLR. For the demonstration, first of all, we are going to create a GitHub repository. So I have my GitHub account in which I have a default organization linked with my GitHub account. If you're not sure about what is the GitHub account, how do you create the GitHub account and set up the organization and repository, I can create a video for you, but it's really simple. You can just create a GitHub account simply with your any email ID, and by default it will create an organization, though you can create some additional organization as I have multiple of them and I can create any new one at any given point of time. Now within the organization you can create multiple repository. As you can see, these are my multiple repository. Repository can be public or private. So for this demonstration, I'm going to create a public repository so that it will be available to you guys in case if you want to view or download the implementation which we are going to have in this particular demonstration. So let's go ahead and create a new repository quickly. To create a new repository, I'll click here, give it a name called the Terraform GitHub Actions or workflow, whatever you want to call it. Here you can provide the description. As I said, a repository could be type of public or private. If it is public, then it will be publicly available to anyone who has the access to the URL. If it is private, then the team whom you will provide the access, that particular team would have the access to the repository. In this case, I am going to leave the repository as public. I would like to add a readme file and a git ignore file. I will say a git ignore file as in Terraform to start with it, so that it will add the Terraform git ignore content. I'll click here on the create repository. It will create a brand new repository for me. So this is the repository URL. As you can see here, the github.com, the name of my organization and the name of my repository which I have created. This is the code or the main section where you can find on the code tab. So any source code file which you will be adding here, it will show. And here is the settings section. Here is the project which you can link to this particular repository. Let's go ahead and clone this particular repository on our Visual Studio Code. To clone the repository, I can simply get the URL from this code button. So if you click here, depending upon the type of authentication mechanism you are going to choose, you can clone that particular repository. At the moment, I'm going to use the HTTPS, but if you want, you can use the Git CLI or SSH as well. So let's copy this particular URL and we'll head over to our Visual Studio Code, and this will clone this particular repository. This is my Visual Studio Code instance where I'm going to clone this particular repository. I'll click here on this particular link, git clone. If you don't want to click here, you can simply type the command git clone, git space clone, and then type this particular URL, and that will perform the same action which we are performing it here. Select location. So that will create a GitHub repository at this particular location. It says that open the clone repository. I'll say yes. So that will open the repository here on my Visual Studio Code. As you can see, this is the repository path and the GitHub git ignore file which we have added while creating the repository. This is the readme file which we have added while creating the repository. Now let's add a new let's add the source code for our Terraform. So we'll say src for the source code. I'll add readme.file. md file will provide some detail if you would like to, and then here I'll add another folder called Terraform, and here in this Terraform I'll add the main.tf file just to add my Terraform file. I'll add the variables.tf file in case I am going to add any variables. So here with the Terraform, we will quickly add the Terraform code to create a resource group. It is the simplest representation of creating a resource group with Terraform into our Azure subscription. So this is the code for creating a resource group. Here is the Terraform block, which will download the Azure provider, which we have mentioned here. Here we are defining the our Azure RM backend in the Azure storage account. So we have a pre-defined Azure storage account where we would like to create our backend files. I'll call it, let's say, demo.terraform, and here in this case we are adding a feature block which is required. If you would like to set these authentication with the variables, you can use this. We are not going to use this particular property, so I'll keep commenting out this, and this is the resource block to create the resource group. So we'll say demo rg. Okay, so that's the code basically to create a resource. Okay, so we are good with the Terraform code. Now let's check in this particular code into our GitHub repository. So I'll open the terminal with control @ and then I'll type in the command git add to add all the files. I can check the files status with the git status command. As you can see, we have added these many files. I'll just commit the changes with the git commit command, git push, so that will push the changes to the remote repository. Now if I refresh this particular page, all my changes should be available here. As you can see here, this is the source directory, and inside the source directory we have these 2 files which we have added to deploy the changes. Now we are ready with our changes in the source code. Next, we need a service principal in Azure which will be used to authenticate Terraform with Azure to deploy the changes. Let's create a new service principal in Azure with Azure CLI command. So we are going to run this command azad, which is Azure Active Directory, sp for service principal, create RBAC with the name of the RBAC, and then we'll assign a role to this RBAC, which is the contributor role, and we will assign the contributor role on the Azure subscription level. So and now I'm ready to run the command. I'll simply paste it spi, and that will create the service principal. So it's assigning the contributor role on the subscription level, and our service principal is ready. Client ID, secrets, subscription, and tenant. These are all the 4 details we need for our workflow implementation. So for this, first of all, we are going to create a secret. And to create a secret, here you can go to the settings, which is the setting of your repository. If you scroll it down, you'll find the secret section here in the settings. Click here on the secret, and here you can manage your secret, add or update any secret or delete any secret. We'll create a new secret called Azure Client ID. I'll copy this client ID, add here, add new secret, create new Azure Client secret. I'll copy this particular secret value. I'll use the subscription ID as well as my third secret. And the tenant ID as well. The reason we are creating a secret, because these are the secret which we will be using in our GitHub workflow. So just to let you know, the workflow are the way to define your CI/CD implementation, or the workflow is basically you're defining some kind of a flow with your repository based on a particular event. So like any other event mechanism which you might have seen in your project, for example, an event when a particular code is been submitted or checked in, or event when a particular pull request has been raised on this repository, or event when an issue has been created on the GitHub. So any particular event when you want to perform some actions, that's when you create a workflow. And to create a workflow, you can go to the actions tab, and from here you can simply create a workflow. If you would like to create a workflow from scratch, you can click here and create a workflow. And apart from this, there are a number of templates which are given by GitHub Actions which you can utilize if you are willing to deploy any specific project type. For example, in our case, we can use this Terraform template, workflow template. So if I select here as in configure, that will say this is the sample flow template which we can use. Now it has given you the details how it's going to work and how the simplest code which you can use. It has also given you the code which you can basically use to deploy or to test this particular workflow, where we already have the code, so we are not going to use this. I'll just erase it, and let's have a let's check in this particular code into our repository, and then I'll explain you what this particular template means. So once I'll say check-in, it will create this particular file. If you want, you can change the file. Now if you have a look at carefully, this is going to create a file inside the repository in the .github folder. Inside that there will be a workflow folder, and inside the workflow folder all your pipeline.yaml file is going to be created. So this is nothing, just if you understand the Azure DevOps pipeline, this is just another pipeline which we'll be creating it. I can anytime go ahead and preview these changes here on the preview section if I want to. Okay, I'll simply say start committing changes. If you would like to commit changes through the pull request, you can use this pull request option. Otherwise, in my case, we are going to just commit the changes directly to the main branch, as I'm the only user who will be using this particular directory. Now coming back to the our Visual Studio Code project, we'll do the git pull, and that will basically pull the file which we have added. Open the file here. This is the workflow file which we have just now added. Let's try to understand a little bit more on this particular workflow scenario, workflow sections. So here you can define the name of your pipeline or a workflow. So I can say TF or the Terraform deployment to Azure. That's going to be my name. And then here's the event. So as I said, the workflows are based on the event. So which event you would like to trigger this particular workflow, that's what you can define it here. So here by default it says that on the push event of this particular branch, this workflow is going to be triggered, and also it will trigger on a specific pull request. If you would like to apply any more specific filters, parameters, there are a number of them available which you can add it. For example, if I just press Control Space, these are the different events available to set up or configure your workflow. So for now, I'll leave it as is. And here is the job collection. So it is jobs means jobs ending with character S. It means the collection of jobs. So you could have one or more jobs with your workflow. So at the moment, this particular default workflow which has been given by that community, we have one job inside the job collection. The job name is Terraform. You can change this particular job name, and here is the display name. If you are familiar about the Azure DevOps pipeline, this name is the equivalent replacement of the display name. So whatever job name you mention here, that's not going to be displayed on the pipeline run. It will be displayed with this particular name. So for example, I could say job name is a Terraform plan, so that will display as in Terraform plan. So job, just one more comparison between this GitHub job collection versus the Azure DevOps job collection. You can think job as in stages. So this particular job is a stage, and we would like to have our pipeline to two-stage deployment. One is going to be build, and build in where we would like to generate the plan for our infrastructure in the build stage, or we would like to call it as a plan stage, where we will have a plan available which reviewer can review, and then we would have a apply or a destroy stage which a reviewer can basically approve or to deploy the resources into the target environment. So we are going to have two stages. So at the moment in the default template, if you look at that, it just has a one stage. So in the stage we have a definition, the name of the stage, or you can call it ID of the stage. This is the display name of the stage, and here we are saying that it runs on this particular job, runs on which agent. So by default it says that it is going to run on the Ubuntu latest agent, but you could set the different type of agent like Windows agent or Mac OS agent. So there are three different type of agent, and again in these three types you would have a different version of the type. For example, Ubuntu could have a latest or Ubuntu 10.os or something like that. So depending upon the specific type, you can set that particular type it here. Okay, and then this is the environment section. So when we set up an environment, the environment will be set up in your settings section. I'll explain this particular environment section later, but for now just leave it as is. And here are some default settings you are applying with the job. So what we are saying here in the default section is whenever you are going to run any command, by default it will run as a bash command instead of any PowerShell or any other type. And then here are your different steps starts. So in the steps you could have, steps is again a collection of steps. So you can define the multiple steps depending upon your logic. For example, in our logic, we would like to first of all check out our source code, and for that we have a checkout step. So the name, which is the name of the stage, and then we are using built-in actions. So in Azure DevOps, you use the task keyword to use any built-in task or any type of task, even for the, let's say, script task. So you have a script task or a script to run. Whereas in the GitHub, you have two keywords which you should remember. One is uses. Uses means you would like to use a built-in actions which has been available in GitHub by GitHub repository or any third-party provider. So when you use a keyword uses, it means you are using any actions here, and you need to specify which actions you would like to use. So in this case, we want to say uses action as in checkout action with the version 2. So if you want to get more detail about any specific action, you can simply go to the Microsoft here and then simply search it, and I'm sure you'll find some detail about the specific action, what are the different ways you can use this particular action type. So this is the detail about the checkout action. So these are the different parameters which are available with checkout actions, and this is how the different ways to use the checkout action into the GitHub. Now we also have a marketplace here available with github.com/marketplace, where we have number of different actions available which you can browse it and utilize in your source code. This is the marketplace library where you can find number of actions. So these are the actions. For example, any action which is by actions, it means the action is been provided by GitHub and it is verified as it has the verified sign. Or any other type of action which is, let's say, by some company or organization or any third-party provider, it means it is not by the GitHub, but it is verified by GitHub, but it is been provided by some third party. Okay, I hope this gives some idea about the GitHub action to use. Now, as I said, you can use the uses keyword with the actions, and then on top of that, you can provide the parameters as well. So just to show you the parameters or the other way to use the parameters, for example. So you use the one way to use the GitHub action is simply as this, with what we are doing it right now. Or if you would like to override the default parameters of any actions, then you can override the parameter using the with keyword, which you says that use this action with these parameters and the name of the parameter and the values. Obviously you need to know what are the different parameters supported by this particular action type which you are using. In my case, I'm not using any, I don't want to override any specific parameters, so I'll leave it as is. And in the next stage, we have the stage name called the setup Terraform. Again, it is using the HashiCorp actions. So it uses the HashiCorp action to set up the Terraform. And here you can see that it is using with the credential type, which is the GitHub API token, which is again comes from the secret. So if you remember in our repository, which is here, we have the settings section, and then here we have the secret section. So here we just have created 4 sections or the 4 different secrets, but we haven't created any secret called tf underscore API underscore token. So how it will receive the value of this particular token? Is it going to receive at all? Possibly not, or maybe it will receive. The GitHub has some predefined system variables which you can utilize, which includes your environment variables, secrets, and some other configuration variables which are available in the GitHub, which you can utilize in your workflow design. So that's, this secret is nothing, just another built-in variable or the built-in secret available with a GitHub repository, which we are using it here. So I'm not going to change this particular thing. So this will basically set up my Terraform. So step number 1, check out. Step number 2, basically just do the setup for the Terraform installation. I could basically specify the Terraform version which I would like to set up my code, because here if you look at, we are not specifying the Terraform version. It means that it will set up the Terraform with the latest version, I believe so. So let's verify if we have a parameter to override with the Terraform version to specify. So I could go to check. So that's the Terraform setup. I'm browsing it here on the marketplace. It is by HashiCorp and it's been verified. I'll go ahead and browse it here and see what are the different options available. As I said, I could override the Terraform version in case my project is using any specific Terraform version and my code is written with that particular version. So I would like to override with that. Okay, so that's the parameter which I can use it in. Now the other type of actions available, this stage or the steps are also basically nothing, just an action. So other type of actions are available with the run command. So run is like when you use run as in a script, or if you want to run as the default any command. So this is the run script which you want to use. Obviously this run is going to be a bash command because we have specified the default run as the bash run. This is the initialize command, so it will initialize the Terraform with the code. Now this is the format command. I don't want to use the format for this particular demonstration. Then we have a Terraform plan, and next we have a Terraform apply. But remember, I said that we are going to have a two-stage process. First, we would have a plan, and it will basically change or deploy the artifact of the plan, and then somebody will review the plan, and we are going to deploy the plan after a reviewer will review it. So what we'll do, I'll remove this particular change. In Terraform, we need to use the variable. So if I go to the Terraform Azure authentication, simply search this. So and it will show me that how do I authenticate the Terraform code with in Azure with the client ID and secret. So this is the command which we have used to create the service principal, and these are the different parameters which we need basically. So as you can see, the Terraform website says that you need to have the environment variable created. So what I'm going to do, instead of, there are two possible ways. You can create the environment variables here, simply env, and then specify the environment variables like this, test abc, that's the name of the environment variable. So that the scope of this type of environment variable is going to be limited to this job, whereas we would like to set up the environment variable which will have the access to both my jobs plan as well as to the apply command. Create the environment variable, which is the name this, and we are going to set up this environment variable with the value, the secret which we have created, if you remember. So we will call it as secrets and then Azure ID. So that's the environment variable. Okay, similarly we will create a rest of our environment variables. So these are all my environment variables. Now if I run this particular deployment pipeline, it will use these environment variable to authenticate to the source code, and it will try to run the Terraform init and Terraform plan and apply command subsequently. Okay, that's fine. But if I run the Terraform, if I run this particular workflow as is, it will fail. I'll show you why. Let's first of all commit the change. Now, as soon as I have checked in the code, I believe the workflow should trigger, because we have mentioned on this particular branches, if any push happens on the main branch, it should trigger the workflow. So if I click here on the action button, you can see that it has triggered the TF deploy to Azure. This is the name of the workflow which we have given at the very first line. And here if I expand, these are the different stages it is going to run. So this is the stage, Terraform plant stage, or the display name what we have given. And if I expand further to this particular stage, it has the different steps which it is trying to run. But I'm expecting this to fail. First of all, I'll show you why. So you can see that it has run checkout is the stage which we have mentioned, Terraform setup, initialization. If you look at, it hasn't initialized it. If you remember the Terraform initialization command, it says initialization completed successfully, but this says that initialization is an empty directory and the plan has failed because it hasn't found anything to run the plan. The reason for that is because it is running on the root directory. It runs on the root directory of your repository, whereas our source code is not there in the root directory itself. So if I would have written my entire Terraform code directly here in the root directory, it would have run. But here in this case, our source code in this particular directory, in the inner layer directory, which is under this src, we have the Terraform folder, and then we have our Terraform files. So it means that these stages which are running, we need to specify the directory on which we need to run these commands or the stages. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'll create a new environment variable. I'll call it as a root path, and we'll specify the path of the source code, Terraform source code, and then we are going to use the location where we would like to run this. So here we have the Terraform working directory, and we are going to use our variables, which will say env dot environment variables dot root path. Okay, so this is how you can use it. Similarly, this is again a plan command where we would like to use the same root, run it on a same root directory. Now I'll commit this change. Now let's look at if it has triggered the workflow. It did, and you can see that it has got our commit message, which is root path updated. So here it has failed again. But before that, I would like to say show you that it has set up the environment variables as I mentioned, and it's basically failing. It says that it's failing again. It says that no directory found. It's trying to set up the or run the Terraform initialization with the same variables with this particular default path, which is the path of the Linux server. In this particular path, we are setting up the Terraform initialization, and we are appending the root path basically with that, but it's failing. The reason for that is because we are using a relative path, and it's not able to find the relative path to go at the 2.0 level up. So if you look at here we are saying whatever is the current path you are in. So whichever current path this particular command is running, we would like to go 2 level up, and then we want to find the src and the Terraform directory from there. So it might not possible that in the current directory and from the current directory 2 level up, it will find that particular directory. So to get the exact location of the path where this particular source code repository might have cloned, so when the action is going to run on the Ubuntu agent, so what first thing it will do, it will check out the file, right? And when it is going to checking out the file, it will check out the file in a particular directory. So let's say here in this particular case, it's basically checking out our entire repository in this particular folder, and we want to get the location of this folder so that we'll go to this folder, and inside this folder we have the src directory, and then inside the src directory we have a Terraform directory. So now the question is, how do I get this particular path? To get the path or this path, there are so many built-in variables with GitHub available which you can use, like I mentioned previously as well, which you can use to get the root path. Okay, now this is the documentation of the GitHub action. Here in the context section or even in the environment variable section, you can find the value of or the different parameters which you can use. So this is one of the parameter, which is github.workspace. So that is going to give you the working directory And from this working directory, you can go to a specific folder, github.workspace, and that will basically make sure you have the. So now if I check in the code, hopefully it should run. Push. So you can see that it has run the Terraform initialization successfully this time because it has found the correct directory, which is what we want. And now if we look at our Terraform plan, we will see that it has run the plan as well, which says that it's going to create one resource, which is of type resource group. So we are ready with our plan, which we are ready with our stage one, which is Terraform plan. We would like to have another stage. So let's work on the next stage. So for the next stage, I would like to copy the same stage and I will just simply paste it here. I would like to call it as an apply. If I commit the change and run both the stage as is, these stages are going to run parallel, whereas we would like to run these stages sequentially because we want to run first plan and then apply. If plan fails, we don't want to apply. We don't want to run our apply section. So we need to set up a dependency, and to set up a dependency, we can use the need keyword. So here with the GitHub Actions, we have the needs keyword and we can set up the needs value. So here in this case, it is needed by Terraform plan to be completed before it runs. This is what we are saying. If we have a dependency on multiple of them, you can set up it like this with the comma separated values, okay, as an array. So this is another thing. Now here we are using the environment variable. We don't want the environment to be set up, so I'll remove the environment which we have in the Terraform plan section, but I would like to have the environment at the Terraform apply section. And now it is the time to show you what is the significance of the environment. Just before that, I would like to use the command as in Terraform apply, and here I'll use the Terraform apply command and I'll say auto approve. Okay, so that will run the Terraform apply command with auto approve. That's it. Now I'm ready with the change. Before I commit the change, I'll show you the environment which we have created, a production environment, right? If you go to the settings and here in the environments, if you look at here, we have it has created a production environment. The reason why the production environment has created because we have mentioned in our pipeline. So what does it mean is if you specify any environment here on your workflow, it will first of all check the environment availability in your GitHub environment configuration. If it is not available, it will create a new one for you. So depending upon what you want to create, if you want to create, let's say from here, I can set up, let's say dev environment, and now here I can set up the environment. This is my environment configuration. I can say this dev environment requires a reviewer to review, and here you can add your GitHub user to review the reviewer to review your code. So this is my GitHub account. I'll say save, and that's it. So this is the environment which we have created, which is the name as dev. So we are not going to use the production environment because it doesn't have any approval. So now we are going to use the dev environment, okay, and we have a dependency here on this particular file. Now I will check in code. I'll say apply stage added. Now if I just refresh this action, you'll see that the apply stage added comment is there, and now we should have two stages. So one is our plan stage, which is running right now, and then apply stage, which is dependent on the plan stage. So plan is run successfully, and just to show you again, it is using the environment variables all across the stages. So these are the environment variables which we have set up globally here as well. Initialization time, okay, and this is the root path which we have set up. Okay, now if you look at the summary, this particular stage, which is the Terraform apply stage, is waiting for the approval. You can see that it is waiting for this user's approval, which is me in this case. but you can set up any your team leads as an approver. Now as a approver, I can go ahead and approve the changes. Let's proceed. Obviously this comment section is optional. I'll say approved, which is the apply stage, and you can find the detail or the summary of the approval here. That's it. The deployment is also completed. I can go ahead and expand this particular stage just to check what it has deployed. Okay, so that's the changes which it has created. And now if I go to the Azure subscription, so that's the demo RG which we have just now created. Now if we will create any updates to our source code, let's say for example, if I add tags to this particular resource, which will call it as environment equals to dev, I push the changes. I'll refresh the actions again. It's running the just to show you that once a plan has been failed, it has not run the apply, because in the needed we have set up that it will only run the plan if it will only run the apply if a plan is going to be succeeded. Okay, now let's refresh again. Now this time it has succeeded the plan, and it's going to update the tags here. So it says that one change which as a reviewer I can review, and then once I'm satisfied, I'll approve it again by selecting this, and that will deploy the change. I can anytime go ahead and cancel this particular workflow if I want to. Okay, we have the deployment successfully done. Now if I refresh it here, at the moment we do not have any tags. Let's see if we receive any tags to this particular resource group. So these are our tags which we have added. Tags, it means it is deploying the changes. Now one last thing I would like to mention here is we do not have any option at the moment to run this pipeline manually. I can anytime run the pipeline from the push. Whenever I'm going to push the code changes or raise a pull request, it will run that particular change. No issue with that. But what if I would like to run the changes manually or run the pipeline manually? I do not have any options to run the pipeline. Obviously I can disable the pipeline, I can create this status batch with this particular pipeline, that's okay. But what if I would like to run the new I would like to run this particular pipeline? To set up a manual execution within your pipeline, whether it is any type of pipeline, whether Terraform or any other, it's simply just all about workflow. Basically what you can do is you can go to your workflow, and from here you can set up a workflow dispatch. So this is the attribute which will help to basically set up how do you want to run. This is the attribute which you need to use to enable the manual run to your workflow. So let me just commit the changes. Now if I run this is running fine. I can go to here, and if you look at carefully, I have got this particular banner here which has the option with the toggle button run workflow. I can select any branch from here, and I can specify I would like to run this workflow or this particular pipeline on this branch and run it manually. Okay, so now from this workflow I can run like here, and it has triggered a new workflow. If I refresh it, there you go. Okay, so this was about setting up the Terraform deployment or setting up the Terraform workflow with GitHub Actions on your GitHub repository with multiple stages with the approval based deployment. Basically, I hope you have found this useful and learned so many things and about the GitHub workflow. If it is, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching it. See you in the next video.